Hi, Pro Partners. Hope you're having a good week. We finally got some rain last week, and that was a much needed relief. It's glad for that. And it's a little cooler out today, a little cloudier, but we're enjoying the cooler temperatures. Um, I have recently been engaged in conversations almost on a daily basis with people about upcoming elections and the need to register and vote. And those things are so important, especially for us who are believers. I believe it's our duty, if you will, to register and vote. We have no business complaining or criticizing or talking about the government if we're not willing to get involved in the process. And somebody at breakfast today, as a matter of fact, made mention of how did our world get in such a mess and all the things that are going on. And I was reminded about, I guess it's been maybe 15 years ago or more now, Bill Gates, the Microsoft fellow. He gave a commencement address to a group of high school students, and he talked to them about 11 different things that they did not learn in school, and they needed to learn desperately. Well, now those students that he talked to, and I believe he was right on target, those students are the ones who are being voted on and voted into office and who are the ones calling the shots, if you will. But anyway, Bill Gates addressed that group and he talked to them about how feel good and politically correct teaching has created a full generation of kids with no concept of reality and how this concept sets them up for failure in the real world. Just listen to these 11 things he shared with them. Rule number one: life is not fair. Get over it and get used to it. I was really impressed with his straightforward address to those students that day. Um, the Bible tells us and reminds us in John 16 that in this world, we're going to have tribulation. But Jesus said, "Fear not, I've overcome the world." We need him to be a part of our life. He needs to be involved in every aspect of our life. But to think or to rationalize that even we as believers uh, think that life is fair, it's not. And there's a reason and a purpose for that. We're not going to get into that today, but um, I was impressed that he was so direct with those kids. Life's not fair. Get over it and get used to it. Rule number two: the world does not care about your self esteem. The world will expect you to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. And these days, with gender identity counseling and all the other nonsense that's going on with young people, trying to raise their self esteem and make them feel good about who they are. I think Bill Gates was right. The world expects you to, and God expects you to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. Rule number three: you will not make $40,000 your first year right out of high school. And you won't be a vice president with a car phone until you earn both of them. And nowadays, we've got government officials and presidents who are wanting to pay off everybody's high school or college debts and all those kind of things because they feel like they've earned the privilege to do that. Bill Gates reminded them the world doesn't care about your self-esteem, and you ain't going to make $40,000 right out of college. So you've got to earn both of them. Rule number four: if you think your teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. He doesn't have tenure. And that is so true. One thing children need to learn in high school, especially, the teacher's in control. They need to be listened to and obeyed. And when they tell you to do something, do it. But that is not the message the youth of the world is getting today. I think about all these things I see on the TV, on the news, of people complaining because somebody got slammed to the ground by a police officer and handcuffed and treated roughly. But when they show back the video of what actually happened, They were asked to get out of the car, to put their hands on the hood, to stand there. And what do? They get out, they badmouth the officer, smart off to him, do everything the officer said don't do. And then they wonder why they get roughed up and taken to jail. It's crazy. Rule number 5. Flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents had another definition for the word burger flipping, and they called it opportunity. I hear all these people talking about they can't find a job, can't do this, can't do that. There's a business up on Main Street right here in Blue Springs who's had a help wanted sign in their front window for, I'll bet you, 10 years at least. Every fast food restaurant I go by, there's a table set up in a corner, now hiring. It's not that there aren't jobs out there. It's that young people are looking for careers, not a job. And they're living in a society where the government says, well, we'll pay all your bills and we'll take care of this and we'll take care of that. And they take the money from those who have worked hard and earned it and give it to those who haven't done anything for it. Rule number 6. If you mess up, it's not your parents' fault, so don't whine about your mistakes. Learn from them. I think that's some great advice. When we make mistakes, admit it, quit it, get on with it, learn from it. Don't do that again. That didn't work. Rule number 7. Before you were born, your parents weren't as boring as they are now. They got that way from paying your bills, cleaning your clothes, listening to you talk about how cool you are. So before you go out and save the rainforest from parasites of your parents' generation, try delousing the closet in your own bedroom. I would have loved to have been there that day and seen the look on the faces of those kids when Bill Gates gave this to them. And it is so true, isn't it? Young people criticize and complain about parents and those who are in authority over them and get all these bright ideas for fixing the world, but they won't even clean their own bedroom. Rule number 8. Your school may have done away with winners and losers, but life has not. In some schools today, they have abolished failing grades, and they'll give you as many tries and times as you need to get the answer right. And this doesn't bear the slightest resemblance of anything in real life. How true that is. We've taught and trained kids that if you didn't get it right, it's okay, we'll just put up with it and go on. No. We need to learn from our mistakes. We need to study. We need to apply ourselves. And there is such a thing as winning and losing. And what separates the two is the winners have trained and prepared. Rule number 9. Life is not divided into semesters. You don't get summers off, and very few employers are interested in helping you find yourself. You do that on your own time. I think it really is true. You know, as kids growing up, we kind of get the idea. Only have to go to school for a few months, and then I get the summer off. I don't have to do anything. And we get that mentality. I don't have to do anything when school's out. And then graduation comes, and I don't have to do anything. My parents will take care of me. I've got a room at home. I don't have to work. I don't have to get a career. I don't have to worry about college. And again, life is not divided into semesters. It's work time every day of the year. Rule number 10, and I think this one, adults need to hear this one as well. Television is not real life. And I would add to that, especially the news programs. Television is not real life. In real life, people actually have to leave the coffee shop and go work at a job. I think we have drummed into our kids this way of life presented on TV as reality, and it's not even close. And like I said, especially those news broadcasts. If you want to get confused, if you want to get deceived, if you want to get upset and angry, just watch what's on TV. And again, I was having a conversation with some folks this morning, and they were talking about how bad things are in the world and this and that. And I said, have you heard the news about what's going on some of our college campuses around the United States? Just recently, within the last couple of weeks, the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, they had a tremendous revival among the youth there at the college. I don't remember now whether it was after a football game or whether they just called a rally out in the parking lot of the school, but over 2,000 young people, men and women, college students, gave their hearts to Jesus Christ. And they actually had tanks of water out on the parking lot and they baptized over 2,000 people in one night. I've heard about that in colleges all over the U.S., that a younger generation are hearing the truth of the gospel and turning and giving their hearts to Christ. But you won't hear that on the 6 o'clock news or on TV. You've got to get out into the real world and see what's really going on. You sit there and watch that stuff on the 6 o'clock news, you're going to get depressed in a hurry, especially with all this political rhetoric that's going on right now. And rule number 11. Be nice to nerds. Now remember, Bill Gates was the one giving this. Be nice to nerds. Chances are you're going to end up working for one someday. I think that's great advice. Be kind to everyone. Jesus said in the Bible in 1 Corinthians 13, love never fails. Love never fails. You got people in your life that are rubbing you sideways, love them. Tell them about Jesus. Be a friend to them. Be kind to them. Do whatever it takes to reach them for Jesus. That's the best way to change somebody's life, is to lead them to Christ. So all these 11 rules that Bill Gates came up with, I really think should be shouted from the highest rooftop, especially at this time facing elections. So as you're going through the week, you might kind of think about some of those 11 things and pray about them and see who you might share them with. God bless. Have a great week.